The emotional maturity gap between Chloe and Johnny. The moment people started comparing Chloe's youthful impulsiveness with Johnny's steadier life experience, it became clear that the real tension here isn't about romance, but about how readiness for commitment develops at very different speeds. And I'm curious whether you also sensed this gap in their interactions. What struck me most is the contrast between someone who still seems emotionally tethered to parental guidance and someone who has already faced enough challenges to understand that marriage isn't just a symbolic milestone, but a long-term responsibility that reshapes everything in daily life. As I watched their dialogue shift from affection to uncertainty, I realized that many viewers project their own past mistakes onto this couple, which might explain the strong reactions. So feel free to share how your own experiences shape your view of them. There's also something fascinating about how Chloe switches between confidence and hesitation, because this inconsistency reflects a stage of life where decisions feel reversible even when they're not, a pattern many people might recognize from their early adult years. Johnny, on the other hand, seems to evaluate the relationship through the lens of cause and consequence, understanding that unresolved issues never simply disappear after a wedding, and I think this resonates with anyone who has learned those lessons the hard way. Some comments point out that Chloe's comfort with running to her mother for support may reveal an internal conflict between independence and security, a conflict that often becomes visible only when major decisions are on the table. I find it meaningful that viewers repeatedly mention financial dependence because it raises real questions about whether emotional readiness and economic stability can exist separately or whether one inevitably influences the other. A particularly strong reaction came from those who noticed her frustration when things don't go her way, which suggests that she is still navigating the difference between desire and responsibility. And I wonder how many of you see this as a temporary phase or a deeper pattern. What becomes increasingly clear is that a marriage built under pressure or confusion rarely stabilizes itself afterward, and this dynamic reminds us why honest communication matters more than romantic momentum during these transitions. If anything, their story shows how maturity is less about age and more about life experience, emotional consistency, and the ability to make decisions without relying on external approval. And I'd like to hear whether you think they can bridge that gap.